Hi everyone and welcome to this episode of the Kaz. I am continuing with this bin of comic books that I found that I had when I was younger, and I'm going to go through what's in the rest of the bin here. So first off, here's Force Works #1. I got, during the 90s, when I really got into collecting comic books, I would get the #1s of a bunch of issues. So here's Force Works. Looks like there's some sort of fold out here. I didn't really open it up just to keep the value of it, but there's some sort of fold out here on the front. And on the back here, it's wraparound with the other half of Iron Man's face there. So you got Force Works #1 here. It's nice. Here's Gambit #1. The nice thing about, and I'll probably say it multiple times here, is that the nice thing about the comic books in the 90s is that they had a lot of gimmicks, a lot of cover gimmicks. This, such as gold foil. See all the lettering here of Gambit, and his cards here that he's throwing are in a gold foil here. This is Gambit's first issue of a limited series here. Another gimmick that they had back in the 90s were these foiled prism hologram type of covers here. Here's Excalibur #75. Even though as a Star Trek fan I was collecting comic books long before the Death of Superman here. The Death of Superman was pretty much what is the catalyst for me to start collecting comic books for kind of like a future investment thing here. So here's the Death of Superman. I know there were a lot of these, so this one's probably not the most valuable, but here's Superman #75, the Death of Superman. Here's The Simpsons, Krusty Comics #1, the Rise and Fall of Krustyland. Here's Bartman #1, another Simpsons themed comic books. And this one too has, if you can see it, what he's hanging over there, it's a vat of, looks like a vat of acid. It's a vat of silver ink here, a la Joker. But let's see what else is in here. I have a few comic books here. Oh, we got Radioactive Man here. So here's Radioactive Man. This one actually glows in the dark. You can see he has his skeleton here will glow in the dark. So not only do I have the Radioactive Man, the Krusty Comics, and the Bartman one, but it looks like I also have Itchy and Scratchy #1. This Bart Simpson's Creepy Crawly Tales. Oh, it's the Simpsons comic. Okay, it's the Simpsons comic #1, and it looks like on the back, upside down, they have another set of comics. And here's the ad for Radioactive Man on the back of Bartman comics. So there you have the Simpsons comics. And right after Superman died, they had to continue with the storyline. So what they did is that they created 4 new Supermen, kind of split personalities of that Superman, and other types of Supermen. So this one is Superman #78 with the Cyborg Superman. Here's Superboy #1 from the Reign of Tomorrow line of comics. And also, what they also had was Supergirl #1, the Reign of Tomorrow storyline. Here's an old issue of Superman, #286. It's like something's happening to Superman there, so he failed to save Metropolis, so he's telling the statue of Superman to go out and save everyone. And on the back there, I always thought these were neat. These were the different cheap toys, gimmicks that you can get from the back of a comic book. Looks like you can get some seeds, along with some other sort of cheapo toys. Here's an issue of Supergirl from January of 1984. The back of it is an ad for this toy here called Power Lords. Issue of Spider-Woman #18. Sold for 40 cents back then. The back is one of these prizes that you can cut out the back here and send in some money for some prizes. Here's another anniversary type of comic book that I would have gotten. It's #25 of Spider-Man 2099. It's a double-sized issue. And another thing that they did, of course, is the 25 here has sort of kind of like a silvery metallic-y, and also the Spider-Man 29 has like a silvery metallic-y look to it. There's some artwork on the back here of Spider-Man. Now, Rocko's Modern Life was one of my favorite Nicktoons back in the 90s. And this is Rocko's Modern Life #1. TV's whacked out Wallaby goes berserk in his own Marvel mag. So this was a comic book version of the Rocko's Modern Life TV show. On the back they're advertising some Crunch and Munch. That's good stuff. I'm not sure if they sell that anymore. But there's some Crunch and Munch with some Marvel characters tie-ins there. Like I said before, these enhanced covers, the comic book publishers went crazy with these enhanced foil covers back in the 90s. So here's Generation X #1. So I actually got 2 of these. It looks like I got that one. And it's a wraparound cover. So I guess I should do it this way. It's a wraparound cover. So you have this guy. I didn't really read. I think I may have read them when they first came out, but I really don't know the characters here. I think that's Jubilee, but that's what the wraparound cover would have looked like. But again, this is a super foil cover. I'll actually open this up and you can see how, see all that silver there, all that foil, it's plasticky silver there. That's what these foil covers were all about there. But they were neat. They were nice to look at. Shiny, flashy. I guess you needed to do what you needed to do to sell comics back then. Here's a Generation X issue, I think it's #4, February. Their holiday Christmas spectacular here. I think I probably got it because it was a Christmas special. It looks like I did some collecting of the Generation X comics. You saw I had Generation X #1 with that wraparound foil cover. Here's Generation X issue #2, December of that year, whatever year that was. And I also have in this bag Generation X issue #3. The Christmas issue is #4. So there's the Generation X comics there. I know it happens a lot with comics, but this looks like it was a #1 issue of a special crossover between Gen 13 and the Max from Image. I remember the Max came out like in the 90s on MTV, I think during one of their animation TV shows. But there's the that's Gen 13 and the Max #1. And if you've been watching episodes of the Cast, you know I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I probably got this one, this Primordials #1, because it looks like Leonard Nimoy created it. So that's pretty much the only reason, well, the #1 and because of Leonard Nimoy, those would have been the only 2 reasons I would have bought this. So there's Primordials #1. I didn't actually read it, so I don't remember anything about it. I didn't even know that I had it, but it's some nice artwork there of whatever creature that is. Here's Detective Comics #682, Batman. Nice dark gothic-y looking artwork there for the cover of that issue. I'm not sure why I got it. I think I may have a signed copy of that, but I'm not sure. And one of the reasons why I liked collecting comics back then was for the artwork. I know way back when, I'm not sure if some people have this feeling now, but a lot of people think that comics are just not literary enough, and they'll like rot in your brain or whatever. But I really love the artwork that goes along with comics. As you can see here, the cover of this Max Image here of #1 by Image Comics is just a great piece of artwork. Here's an issue of The Flash featuring Superman in a guest spot. The Flash #53. So August of 1991. I really liked Image Comics. Image, I'm not sure. I'd have to do some research, or I'm not going to fake it that I know that I'm all that knowledgeable about comic books. But I'm not sure if Image is still around. I really liked Image, I think Image was a independent startup when a few established comic book creators that were in DC or Marvel, I think they went out on their own and created Image, and Bloodstrike was one of them. This is Bloodstrike #1. Here's another foil enhanced cover from back in the 90s. It's Cable #1. I have a few favorite X-Men. Cable's one of them. I like his glowing eye. I like the fact that he's a cyborg. I like that he uses these big, obnoxiously huge guns from the future. I think it's interesting that he is the child. I think he's the child of Cyclops and Jean Grey. But here's Cable #1, as you can see here. He has a gold foiled cover here. The name, the title here, Cable, and also you can see on his vest there, his belt, his weapons belt there has a little, it's enhanced there with some gold foil there. Pretty nice.